that exactly what you expected, or?
It's better.
Oh, there goes Caloundra. Hey people of the interwebs, it is Q with another scuba diving adventure. Sunday morning, 7:15, and a very respectable 19.5 degrees centigrade. It is overcast with a light sprinkling of rain coming down, but that's not going to stop us getting in the water because there's no electrical activity with this rainfall. So fairly safe from that perspective. Today's dive, for 3 people in particular, is a very special dive. They were doing their open water pool work yesterday, which means that today will be their first day actually out in the open water doing dives 1 and 2 of the 4 required dives to become certified as an open water diver. And as far as I know, my job today is simply to hold the flag and film the proceedings. But as we've seen previously, plans can change pretty quickly, and we'll find out exactly what the go is as soon as we get down to the dive shop. And the plans didn't change. Indeed, I was the flag bearer and the cameraman that day. There are a total of 6 of us heading into the water. The 3 students were Jonathan and Jasmine from the USA and Cody from Canada. As an open water student, one of the first things you get taught is how to enter the water with your buddy, and then how to assist each other getting your masks and fins on. After a shorter than usual surface swim out, we drop down into just 3.9 meters of water, which is 12.8 feet. One of the reasons for doing this is because this is the first time these guys have been underwater in the open ocean, and we just want to make sure that everything's going to be good while we're still in relatively shallow water. As the flag holder, it's my job to drop down first and then find a nice sandy patch where the students can start doing their skills. One of the reasons for doing this is so the students can learn how to descend a line. Whether it's a flag line or an anchor line, the principle is still the same. Now, as you watch this footage, just remember this is the first time these guys have been in the ocean, in the open water, and the first time they've dropped below the surface using a line. Finding your balance and finding your buoyancy on your very first dive is very tricky. On this dive we had an instructor, 2 rescue divers and 3 students. When we first settle on the bottom, there's a few minutes to allow the students to adjust to the new situation they're in, make sure all their gear is as it should be, and this process usually stirs up a lot of sand and sediment from the bottom. So at this point we generally find a heading and move off to find clearer water and a clear patch of sand to actually start the skilling process. Here you can see the instructor telling the students to buddy up and follow him, and you can also see him letting me know that our heading is 30. Once we'd found ourselves some clearer water and at least 5 meters of depth, the skilling process begins. One of the first things we ask the students to do is a mask clear. If you get water in your mask, you want to be able to clear that out, and again, it's a skill that's only learned by doing. Understanding the physics of diving is a key part to being able to master the skills underwater, but essentially it boils down to which way is up, which way is down, and which way the bubbles are going. After the students complete each set of skills, there's generally a little bit of a swim around, once again just to give them more confidence in the water. It allows them to practice their buoyancy control, and maybe even practice their mask clearing skills that they've just learned. For most of this dive, the visibility was around about the 7 meter mark, which is 23 feet. Once the instructor had decided on a nice patch of sand ready for the next set of skills, he indicated that I should come over and be by his side. And on the way over there, I noticed that the student narrowly missed getting a nasty sting from a very small stingray. So, a lucky escape for both the diver and the stingray. Another skill that has to be learned is what we call the out-of-air, share-air scenario. And here you can see the students not quite getting it right the first time, and Steve moving in to help them perfect their technique. One of the things that happens with learning these skills is you learn by repetition. So on each of the 4 dives that you do in open water, you are repeating pretty much the same skills through each dive. Another vital skill to learn is the reg retrieval. Let's say you're swimming too close to the person in front and their fins flick up and knock the regulator out of your mouth. You've got to know how to retrieve that and get it safely back into your mouth so you can start breathing again. This method is called the sweeping retrieval. There is no one skill that you learn that's the ultimate skill. Essentially, it's a combination of all the skills coming together at the right moment to give you a safe and happy dive. Buoyancy control is a vital skill for scuba divers. And here you can see the students doing what we call the fin pivot. And essentially what they're learning is how much buoyancy control you can have by simply filling or emptying your lungs. This skill can be a little bit tricky to perfect in the beginning, but after a while it becomes quite intuitive. And once again here we see a perfect reg retrieval. So good that it gets a high five from the instructor. As well as the mandated skills that have to be taught on an SDI open water course, Wildcat Dive likes to throw into the mix some basic navigation skills. And here you can see Steve showing the students that you can use natural navigation as well as verification from your compass. And here on the final leg of Dive 2, you can see Steve the instructor letting the students know that we're heading home on a heading of 210. And the students checking their compasses to confirm the direction. During the surface interval between dives 1 and 2, the students were saying that they didn't see much fish life. That's probably because they weren't looking behind them, because if they had, they would have seen this bunch that had been following us around for most of Dive 2. I think the fish were quite happy that the students were kicking up quite a bit of sediment and sand and disturbing some food particles for them. With just 2 dives under their belts, these 3 students are looking fairly confident in the water, and their buoyancy control is really, really good too. These 3 guys are going to go on to be quite good divers, I think. Dive 1 was 30 minutes long, Dive 2 was 26 minutes long. We hit a max depth of 5.2 meters, which is 17 feet. The water temperature was a very nice 22 degrees Celsius, which is 71.5 Fahrenheit. And overall, the visibility was about 7 meters, which is 23 feet. So how was that for your first 2 dives in the open water?
I loved it.
Good. What do you reckon, first 2 dives in the open water?
It's awesome. It's fantastic.
Pretty incredible.
Exactly what you expected, or?
It was better.
Oh, there goes the Lowry. Dive's over for you.
You ain't got a big head on that thing.
If you've enjoyed this scuba diving adventure with Q, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave a like. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and as soon as I see them, I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.